Hey, 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 happy Friday. This is Pam Schmidt, Chemical Minimalist. Are you looking forward to another weekend? I sure am. I love the pace of the weekend. Yesterday, Kolae and I spoke and I interviewed her. And today we're going to change seats and she's interviewing me. Before we jump into that, I want you to look down below. You see that little terracotta colored banner. I don't call it orange, it's terracotta because of my choices. But anyway, this is a link that you can type in and look up our event called Rejuvenate You. Kolae and I are both sponsors there. It's going to be a fabulous time connecting and filling up and just kind of making sure that we're rolling because these last 2 years have not been very easy. So anyway, use that link, check it out. I'll pop it in again at the beginning and the end. Oh my goodness. And now I'm going to turn it over to Kolae. Hey, Kolae, how are you today?
I'm so good. It's good to visit with you. I'm excited to learn more about what you do. I know that we've come across each other's paths quite a bit in the last 2 years. I've only actually met you once, but I'm so looking forward to August and getting to meet and play with you again. We had so much fun at our last event. So I'm hoping that anyone who hears this will at least look and see if it matches up with their calendar, because we would love to have you there. And we have discount tickets. So get a hold of us because we don't want you to have to pay the whole price. So come and have fun with us at a discounted price. So I know, Pam, that you're the Chemical Minimalist. So what is that?
First of all, that's a tongue twister.
I agree.
And I always laugh that, what minimalism means takes so many letters.
So true.
So true. Anyway, yeah, I have to say Chemical Minimalist slowly. Anyway, what is chemical minimalism? Really it comes down to reducing the amount of toxins in our lives that lightens our toxic load on our bodies. And that way, when you get all that junk out of the way, your body is able to do what it's meant to do. And that means your brain and your emotions and your body systems are all just running prime. You think of a car engine. We just traveled a little bit and on our vehicle, my husband decided we're going to put in a little bit higher grade gasoline just to see if it runs better. Whew, it did. So it's the same kind of thing in terms of our bodies. When we get the junk out and we make sure we get the better primed stuff, including food and the ways we treat ourselves when we're not feeling good, our bodies can do the job so much better.
So true. We would never put sand in our vehicle, but yet we will put something equivalent to that in our bodies. Absolutely. And we only get one body. We can replace the vehicle.
I've actually known a couple of situations where the fuel in a vehicle was bad. Somebody, they had to completely replace the engine in their truck because there was poor grade gasoline and there was bad stuff in it. And so, yeah, you can replace it at a big cost, but not our bodies at all.
There's not even there's no cost. It's just done. And
yeah.
So I love that you have ways for us to do that. So what led you to start this whole journey?
I've told the story before, and I'm just going to keep telling it because it is my story. I kind of was interested in some natural ways of cleaning way back when I was a new wife and new mom. And then, it was just vinegar kind of cleaning the floor and that kind of stuff. And then over time, my husband got tuberculosis and he had been treated with medications that saved his life. The medications, though, were chemo strength. And so most people, when they're done with chemo, they have some residual side effects. And my husband does too. And that is chemically induced lupus. So he's got a lot of soreness all the time, and reduced stamina. His lungs are impacted and respiratory too, but his tuberculosis went throughout the body, so there are a lot of impacts everywhere. And that was over 30 years ago, and we've had him all this time. We've kept him all this time, and we're dealing with it all this time. So I've just over the years, I've started looking for different things to replace some of those nasty things. And bleach, believe it or not, was I kept it for a long time. And I just kept thinking that was the only way to really clean a bathroom or a kitchen. That smell to me meant clean. And in my process of poking around and learning, I came to realize how negatively bleach alone, chlorine alone, can impact our bodies. So I started, searching out ways and products and tools that could help me eliminate bleach. And we've basically done that in our home. It was harder way back when, because the internet wasn't a search tool. And I would see people on talk shows and that had something that I would like, and I'd go buy the book. I mean, that's all you could do. There was no YouTube. And over time, there's been much greater resources, and you have to be wise searching on the internet and YouTube. You have to balance it out, because there's junk info too. But it just became more and more part of my life. And it was interesting. I think you would relate to this, Kolae. I started feeling more and more promptings and those inspirations and those soul nudges that would say, look at this product, look at this bad product or potentially bad one, and search it out. Yeah. And then following the promptings for the replacements. And I'm excited to say the more I listen to those little nudges, the more they come. And I think you deal with that too in your foot zoning, right?
Yeah, I would totally agree that those nudges, the more we listen to them, the more we follow them, the more we get them. It's like, oh, you're listening to me. Let me tell you this. Yeah. And I love that.
Yes. And I just, it continues to be impressed upon me that, the pill version of a solution frequently carries so many side effects that you're just creating not a cycle, but just this domino effect that, maybe you take something for, acid reflux, and then that causes this side effect. So you take something for that, which causes another side effect, and you're chasing your tail.
Yes. And you see that a lot.
A lot. It's frightening just watching TV when we do. I don't know if you're a TV watcher, but the commercials that go by, I'm watching it with kind of a mental checklist. Okay, this one was about medicine. That one was about finances. That one was about junk food.
Yeah.
And those commercials,
there are all these things that we use and are around us, and we don't even think about the consequences of them. Even when we hear, when they do the drug advertisements, and at the end, they always tell you these things could happen. It's almost like we go, yeah, but I need to be better, so I don't care about what will happen.
Right.
And so instead of looking at a whole picture, we just look at what we think we want.
Right. And one that struck me a few years ago was, the making your eyelashes fuller with a medication. And I thought, oh, that'd be good. As you age, they kind of lessen. But it said it could change your eye color and all this stuff. And it's like, what the heck? And if you stopped using it, then your eyelashes would go back to the little puny ones. It's like, no.
Right? I want something that will help the problem get better, not something I have to do for the rest of my life, if at all possible.
Right.
I believe our bodies can heal if given the right environment. Yes. And that includes getting rid of some of the things that we use every day. So is that a hard thing to do? Is it hard to get rid of those chemicals?
I think the hardest thing is changing mindset. And, one mindset thing is thinking it's not clean unless I can smell it. And some of my cleaning tools don't have any fragrance because it's the Norwex microfiber cloth with silver in it that purifies, and water. There's no fragrance. And so the mindset part is something to work on, but you can get there. And if you consider, that the clean aspect is going to be so much better for you, that's the hardest part. Other things, I would say most of my tools and my processes are very easy. The shower is a little bit more challenging. It might take a little bit more of the mechanical cleaning, a little bit more scrubbing versus chemical. And that is a big, again, mindset adjustment. But it's really not hard. I find everything is a lot more simple. And I wish when I was raising my kids, I wish I had all of this all lined up just right for me, because there are less bottles under the sink. I used to train them, well, in the bathroom, you use this chemical for this and that for that and da-da-da. And then you go to the kitchen and it's altogether different stuff. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. It really can be simple.
Yeah. So really it is minimalizing what we're using, and which goes perfectly with your name. But I thought of a couple of things while you were talking that, we can prove to this brain that these things are working. I went to a war those rags, can't say the name, just can't pronounce it right now, where they actually took chicken and rubbed it on the counter and then used the rag to wipe it up. And then they took a chemical test to show you that it was as clean. And then that the other spot that they hadn't done wasn't as clean. And so sometimes we need to see that.
Yes.
So our subconscious goes, oh, it does work.
Right. It brings a little bit more of the scientific side to it, where you see the chemicals before, and then not chemicals, the toxins and germs, and then you see the after effects. When I do that test, I actually lick the surface when it's done.
You trust it that much. Yeah. And my favorite tool from them is the shiny rags for the windows. And you can just wipe your window down with water and shine it up. I can't get it any more shiny than that.
Perfect. No, it's really wonderful. And so, I have that tool. I have, in the last couple of years, found a lot of really wonderful tools that, are Norwex and oils and cookware and supplements. I really wanted to find what were the good ones, not just throw a bunch of stuff up there,
Yeah. So try to find the best of what you need to clean up your space. I love that.
Right.
So is it expensive to get the tools to reduce the toxins?
Some of these things seem expensive at the beginning. Like the cloths, the Norwex cloths, they seem expensive. In fact, I put off buying them for a few years because it's like, I'm not spending $18 for a cloth. But when you consider that some of these things are, like these cloths, are going to last for years, and you're not having to keep buying something off the shelf at $4 to $8 a bottle every month, every 6 weeks, all of a sudden it becomes very cost effective. And what I'm also finding is, these things like these cloths, they're not just for the kitchen, they're for the whole house. And then when we hit the road, we throw them in our glove compartment, can pour a little water on it. We've cleaned windshields, spills, washed our hands. When we're on the Jeep trail, it can become toilet paper.
I've heard that story before, actually. It's a good story. You know what? Sometimes you just got to have something.
Yeah. Because, you're out in the wilderness.
Yeah. And the wilderness doesn't provide toilet paper.
No, not for girls.
Not for girls. That is true. So cool. So the big question is, why does it matter? Why should we care?
It's something you brought up early in this little talk. We only get our one body. We might have two kidneys, but do you really want to narrow it down to one? And, you can't reverse certain things. Even when you take these medications, if you got rid of that symptom, but you got three more side effects, that's probably impacting organs, lifespan, and those kinds of things. I would prefer to save some of these medicines for when there's no other option.
Yes.
I'm not anti-medicine, but if you've overused ibuprofen or antibiotics, then your body gets so used to it that they're not as effective when the big stuff comes.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, our bodies are a gift from God. And then I feel the responsibility to take care of it. And not just for me, but those who live under my roof or whoever listens to the message.
And for our children, I mean, they want us around, right? There's lots of reasons for us to be here, but it's no fun to be here if we're not healthy. So anything that we can do to increase our health, and if it's as simple as getting rid of a chemical and using something else, and hopefully some of those things that we're using will actually enhance our health as well. So we're getting benefits from using them in the process.
Yes. And you brought up yesterday in our interview, and if people missed that interview, check both of our timelines because we talk about what Kolae works on. You talked about raising the frequency and raising the vibration, and that for somebody who's never heard of it, we're not talking about the weirdo sitting on a rock on the mountain. Everything around us has energy. Our bodies have energy. Each organ has different energies. And so when we are using toxins, that is lowering our frequency, and that impacts health, emotions, and everything else. What would you say about that, Kolae?
I would totally agree. I know that an emotion creates a thought, which creates an action. So if I want to get in control of the emotion, so I'm not just reacting every time something happens, I need to have a healthy body to do that. That's what helps us in getting rid of the crud. And I'm still working on getting rid of the crud, to be really honest. I struggle with that. So I am excited to learn more about how to remove. I've been cleaning a lot with peroxide since the last time we talked. So
that's really good stuff
for that. It's good stuff.
And a little boomerang off what you just said. If you're a person who is struggling with anxiety and it just comes out of nowhere, that could be a signal from your body that you've got stuff messing up your system. It's hard for people to sort that down to a physical problem. They think it's just emotional.
Yeah.
But, if you've been using a chemical and it might be delayed, it might be a few hours, and all of a sudden you have this anxiety attack, you need to connect those dots. And
so important.
That's a biggie. And I've just been learning more and more over time about connecting the dots. I don't have everything in my life perfectly clean and toxin free. I keep getting the inspirations of different things, and it's like, oh, I never thought about that. I only recently, this May, we got rid of plastic bottles in our homes. And that might be easy for somebody, but it wasn't easy for us.
It would be hard for me.
Yeah. So, don't think that I have it all set, but I keep searching.
But that's what I love, is that you're always on the lookout. Oh, well, how would this work? And how would this change this? And you're always willing to open that box. And there's so many of us that have said, oh, this is what I know. and this is
Mhm.
where I'm safe, and I'm going to
Mhm.
stay right in this space.
Mhm.
And we're not safe there.
Well, and the other thing is each of us has our own mission. And so I don't expect you, Kolae, to be looking into chemicals all the time. So if, somebody says, if you contact me and say, what do you think about getting a hair permanent? I had somebody do that recently. Well, then I'm going to share what I know. They don't have to do all that.
Right? I love that, because what I love is that we all have our own tools. And if
Mhm.
we all started doing what everybody else was doing and just being copycats,
Mhm.
then we wouldn't have all the tools we need to
Mm-mm.
heal and to be healthy and
Right.
to reach out. And so I love that we have different tools.
Yeah.
And that I can call you and say, hey, Pam,
Yeah.
this isn't working.
Right.
What could I do different?
Right.
And you would have an idea.
And we count on each other. And in our group, our Shaoli people and beyond,
Yes.
we are contacting each other regularly for that. And so what I'd like to let people know is I do handle personal consultations. And so, we can have a half-hour talk and look at a few things that you use that you might be willing to swap out. And it's your choice whether you do it or not, but to give you some options. That's something that I don't often say out there, and I need to.
Yeah, you need to tell people that, hey, call me. I'm going to work with you. I can spend a little bit of time and teach you.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome, because not all of us are going to spend the time to find what we need. So we need to find someone else who did.
I agree. I agree completely. Hey, I know we're running out of time here,
Yes.
so I want to bring us back to the event in Murray, Utah, August 4th, 5th, and 6th. Kolae and I will be there. And if you think we're pretty wonderful, we have 5 other healers and 2 wonderful leaders who are going to be working on this and more, not just chemicals, not just foot zoning. This is just looking at the whole big thing, and we need it. What would you say about that, Kolae?
I would say that you're going to leave a whole different person, stronger, better than you ever have been, because that's how I left the last one. And we have even more people that are going to be there this time. So please look at your calendars. August 4th, 5th, and 6th. We want you there. And we have discount tickets.
I was going to say, don't forget to contact us because, you'll want those discounts. So
yeah, and it's a great discount.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kolae. It was wonderful talking with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.